Hello. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3, back once again with a new edition of the 3 Count with SP3 for November 27, 2019. It is Thanksgiving Eve. I want to thank everyone who's viewing this, everyone who's pushing that subscribe button to get all this new content from Tru Heel Heat. So we got some news to get into on this 3 Count with SP3. So first count, we got to talk about what's been one of the more interesting stories coming out of Survivor Series weekend, and it's the story of Mauro Ranallo-Corey Graves and these tweets, and then the reporting by Wrestling Observer, the news outlet, as well as radio show. Basically what came out is on Saturday night at TakeOver War Games, Corey Graves sent out a tweet, and he was like, just for the record, there is a WWE Hall of Famer and an ROH, a former ROH champion who are on commentary. They probably have a lot to say. Basically referring to Mauro Ranallo basically over talking on commentary during TakeOver War Games. He followed that up by replying to a fan's tweet that came out and said that has Mauro Ranallo been saying too many rap references tonight, and Corey Graves replied, far too many. This was basically Corey Graves calling out a co-worker or teammate in public on Twitter. This led to Mauro Ranallo later Sunday morning, deleting Twitter. Triple H after War Games said that Mauro Ranallo would be on the Survivor Series telecast representing NXT. On WWE Survivor Series, Mauro Ranallo was conspicuous by his absence. Michael Cole said on commentary that Mauro Ranallo blew out his voice during TakeOver War Games, showing so much passion and emotion. If you guys watch TakeOver War Games, Mauro Ranallo definitely did not have like a sore voice or a losing his voice by the end of the telecast. He actually ended off the telecast by kind of screaming in his really normal Mauro Ranallo way. This led to Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Radio basically reporting about the tweets, reporting about Mauro Ranallo deleting his Twitter, and that the explanation by WWE kind of seems kind of suspicious because of all the actions, the tweets that led up to everything, as well as Mauro Ranallo not showing up to WWE Survivor Series. This led to Corey Graves calling out Dave Meltzer on Twitter, kind of pulling a Seth Rollins move by calling him a misinformed liar, and basically telling him to give him a call. You can find my number. Guys like Rusev responded by putting Corey Graves' number out in public. Dave Meltzer in not the same thing as Seth Rollins. I've seen a couple of people online compare the two situations, with Dave Meltzer reporting about the backstage rah-rah speech that Seth Rollins did during the backstage meeting following the Saudi Arabia incident. Dave Meltzer apologized to Seth Rollins. He said that he didn't have enough information, and that he reported without getting all the facts, and that Seth did not do that. But in a difference of that situation, he called out Corey Graves. He said that instead of basically trying to call me out and calling me a liar, why don't you basically apologize to Mauro for what you did, or delete the tweets that you had up there, because he still had the tweets up even though he's calling out Dave Meltzer and telling him that he's misinformed. He also called out Brian Alvarez of Wrestling Observer Radio. Then most recently we had Corey Graves last night on his podcast After the Bell. He opened up this podcast by giving his form of an apology. He basically said that he had an unpopular opinion that a lot of people didn't agree with, something that he says he does all the time to stir up controversy and have something to talk about on TV or on his show. He said that it was in poor taste. He said it was maybe not the most professional way to go about it, and that he apologized if he offended anyone, because he didn't mean to disparage or offend anyone, especially a coworker. It was a cop-out type of apology, similar to the Jim Cornette apology on his podcast, kind of calling his racist joke on NWA Power a starvation joke. It's like you're not understanding the levity of the words and the tweet that you put out there. Corey Graves obviously doesn't understand that Mauro Ranallo made his issues with mental health very open and public thing. So when you rag in a public standpoint, in a public atmosphere like Twitter, on a teammate, coworker, colleague of any type of sorts when they have known issues with similar things happening in this company. Like Mauro Ranallo, the reason that he's not the commentator on WWE SmackDown is because he went through a similar thing being on SmackDown, with people backstage. People tried to point the blame on JBL, and JBL became a scapegoat, but it was a whole bigger issue with Mauro Ranallo on SmackDown. That's the whole reason that he's on NXT. So to now be on NXT and then have another colleague, someone that you have worked with, someone that knows your issues and then call you out in public, Mauro Ranallo cannot control his emotions right now with his issues that are already known. It's just poor taste. It's unprofessional. It's just Corey Graves just made himself look horrible. And kind of like Brian Alvarez said, like, Corey Graves, you're not even that great of an announcer. So for you to like call anyone out, it's just preposterous. Like, it's just on other levels of how wrong, in my opinion, Corey Graves is. Corey Graves can be a good announcer. He can be very talented, but that's besides the point. It's all about this tweet, and I think more people should just focus on him just being wrong and then him not apologizing in the right way. He kind of gave the Hulk Hogan apologies when he apologized to the locker room, saying that you have to be more careful and that I wasn't careful and that's why I got caught. Corey Graves basically apologized for if he offended anyone and that his steering of controversy might have disparaged someone else. Like, he just completely, it went over his head what the real issue is. You publicly called out someone with mental health issues. That's what it comes down to. It's just wrong on another levels. I'm probably going to talk about this more during the week. You know, with the 3 count with SP3, you're going to see me 2 more times this week. So we're probably going to talk about this issue and this story a little bit more. I think it's going to keep on developing. So the second count, we got to announce that Takeover will not be taking place Royal Rumble weekend. This was announced a couple of months ago that it will be called Worlds Collide the day before Royal Rumble in January in Houston, Texas. And this announced over the weekend following TakeOver War Games that it will be NXT versus NXT UK at Worlds Collide the day before the Royal Rumble. I'm very interested in this. NXT UK have a lot of underutilized and a lot of guys that haven't got a spotlight on them that are truly talented, that are some of the best wrestlers that WWE have signed today. Guys like Tyler Bate, guys like Trent Seven, guys like Jordan Devlin. Walter got his spotlight at the Survivor Series, if you call it that, by getting eliminated in 2 minutes. It's like, why do you fly this guy all the way to America to do that to him? Like, this is why he just wanted to stay in the UK. Just saying, it just made no sense. But I'm hoping that Worlds Collide, you know, Triple H is going to be in more control of that. It's not going to be Survivor Series on the main roster where we know who has control of that. I think Worlds Collide, NXT versus NXT UK is going to be very interested. I've seen people online talk about they want to see Undisputed Era versus Imperium. That would be awesome. Me, myself, a matchup that I would love to see, I would say Jordan Devlin versus Matt Riddle. Jordan Devlin is one of the most underrated guys in the entire WWE roster. Jordan Devlin had one of the best matches of 2019 versus David Starr in OTT, Over the Top Wrestling, in Ireland. If you don't want to watch the whole match, just watch their video package, because that was the best video package for any match, hyping any match of 2019. David Starr versus Jordan Devlin is one of the best feuds of 2019. They had one of the best matches at OTT 5th anniversary last month in October. So guys, you need to go out and watch Jordan Devlin. Maybe not in the NXT UK, even though he's had great matches there against the likes of Pete Dunne, likes of Walter. I know it seems like he's about to go against Tyler Bate at the next TakeOver NXT UK TakeOver. So that's going to be a classic match because they had a good match in the original WWE UK tournament. But he's one of my guys that I love in NXT UK and one of the guys I focus on. Of course, all the talent of both the NXT women's division as well as the NXT UK women's division. I say by far the NXT as a whole have the best women's division of any company. Any company, any brand, Raw, SmackDown, AEW, Stardom is probably the best competition that they have out there, but they just don't have the limelight and the spotlight out here in the West, in the United States. But Stardom probably have the best roster of females, but as far as a division in the more United States area, it's NXT by far. And I think that Worlds Collide is going to be a big one for them. I love to see on the women's division, give me Piper Niven versus Shayna Baszler. That's a horse battle that would be very interesting to me, and I think I like that contrast in styles. So the third count, final count for the 3 count with SP3, we got to talk about Vince McMahon over Survivor Series weekend. A couple of notes about Vince following WWE Survivor Series and the 5-on-5-on-5 Team Raw versus Team SmackDown versus Team NXT, and the spotlight and the MVP of that match, Keith Lee. Apparently Vince McMahon fell in love with Keith Lee following WWE Survivor Series, which, duh, like, it's Keith Lee. Keith Lee is by far, he's tremendous. He's fantastic. He is so talented. This guy is 6'2", 6'3". He looks well over 300 pounds, but I say about like 280 to 300 pounds, and he moves like a cruiserweight. He's ridiculously powerful. He can move like a cruiserweight. He flies over the top rope. He does moonsaults, and he's very well spoken. He has a voice that should be like a narrator in movies. So Keith Lee is just so talented, so charismatic, and I'm not surprised that Vince McMahon loved him. He loves big guys, and a big guy that can move like that is that charismatic. I hope that Vince does big things for him, because, and it's kind of surprising because, let's be honest, Keith Lee's run in NXT hasn't been that successful. It wasn't until recently with them launching on USA that they've used Keith Lee a little bit more. So to know that someone that talented in NXT, that Vince sees a little bit more in him than Triple H does, kind of interesting, and kind of something that I feel like we're going to talk about a little bit more right here on the 3 count with SP3, as well as Tru Heel Heat. So we'll stay tuned on that. But the other note from Vince over Survivor Series weekend follows up from WWE Raw this Monday that just came off on November 25th episode of Monday Night Raw. Not to take too much shine from my boy Drunk Guy JJ, but Vince was a little bit upset with the opening promo by Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins referenced CM Punk chants by the Chicago crowd, CM Punk chants that were very loud at the start of the show. Seth Rollins referenced them, saying that he tried to get him here, but he wants to sit behind a desk in LA talking about a change that he does nothing himself for. So Vince was kind of upset like that. He kind of expressed his emotion and his furiousness in the backstage area. People don't know if it was a work or shoot, but apparently that this follows up with an edict from WWE that they don't want to promote matches that they can't follow through on, and there's no guarantee or no follow through that they're gonna have CM Punk in the WWE ring ever. Like, they might try. I don't know if they'll try right now. They might let him get comfortable on Fox on WWE backstage, but they are just not comfortable right now reaching out to him, or they're keeping everything under wraps, and Vince is working the backstage area to make them believe that he's upset with Seth Rollins mentioning the CM Punk chants, but let's see. It seems like Seth Rollins is working very hard to make a CM Punk WrestleMania match happen. I appreciate his efforts, because I know, like a bunch of y'all, I'm a wrestling fan. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, for as much as I don't enjoy Seth Rollins in the public light on social media, I feel like he should stop tweeting, period. I would love if somehow, some way, his annoying little tweets and his annoying whining and complaining online leads to a match with CM Punk, who's also kind of known for whining and complaining. It would be very good promos. It would be a very good build-up if they let the two guys kind of control what the story is going to be. I feel like they can create a great story, but there's no guarantee of that. It's no guarantee. It seems like CM Punk is very happy not wrestling again for right now, and it may take some more time than this coming April for them to recover the bridge to him coming back to WWE in proxy. He's more in by association by being on a WWE backstage show right now, but he is an employee of Fox. I know a lot of you hate when someone says that, but it is what it is, and it's going to take a little bit more time That's what I feel, but I might be wrong. You tell me what you think in the comment section below. So that is the 3 count with SP3 for November 27, 2019. You guys are probably watching this maybe shortly after watching the Wednesday Night Wars with NXT and AEW Dynamite. So I hope you enjoyed those shows. I hope you did enjoy those shows, or if you haven't watched them already, you enjoyed both shows, because the Wednesday Night Wars honestly are the best 2 shows in professional wrestling, in my opinion, right here in the United States, that are on national TV. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. So put your comments below on what you thought about the whole Corey Graves, Mauro Ranallo story, Worlds Collide coming Royal Rumble weekend, or Vince McMahon loving Keith Lee and being upset with Seth Rollins referencing the CM Punk chants. Push that subscribe button, like and share, and support the Tru Heel Heat YouTube channel. It is me, your Tru Heel Phenom SP3, signing off for the 3 count with SP3. Until next time.